Hello everyone and welcome to Leonora AstroTarot. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really am very happy that you decided to come over to my little corner of the internet. So I will say I'm currently offering astrology readings only. As it stands, that may change, but if anyone's interested in exploring their chart one-on-one with me, all of the offerings are down in the description box below. You can reach me at leonora.astrotarot@gmail.com. Okay, so today we're going to do a nice feel-good reading all about what people admire about you. So things that maybe you don't know, but people privately think about from afar, what people admire, respect, love about you, the way you live your life, all of these things. So we have 6 groups today. Group 1 is the pink Tourmaline, Group 2 is the black Tourmaline, Group 3 is the Lapis Lazuli, Group 4 is the Quartz, Group 5 is the Pyrite, and Group 6 is the red Calcite. So just go with whichever group is pinging you. Of course, you're more than welcome to pick more than one group. If your eye is darting around and you find that you're not being drawn in a particular direction, I recommend pausing and maybe coming back later in a slightly different headspace. But of course, this is a timeless reading. It works for whenever you come across it. So I will leave you to pick your pile and I will see you in your reading. Hello, Pile Ones. Welcome to your reading. You picked the pink Tourmaline, and today we are asking, what do people most admire about you? So, of course, this may be, you may or may not know this. Some people may declare these things to you, but some of these things you may be hearing for the first time. What do people most respect about you? Of course, this is general. Take only what feels like it's meant for you. Let's see what we have, Pile 1. We have the butterfly emerging. Nice. We have thunder. Wow, we have the elk, we have humanity, we have the maze. What do we have here in reverse? We have the dreamer in reverse, we have life on earth, we have the unknown, and your flower here is the alstroemeria. Okay, so Pile 1, what do people most admire about you? Well, what I'm getting initially with this butterfly is your growth, the way that you have evolved through time, particularly people that knew you when you were young, or in the past. You know, a lot of people, they don't change observably or hugely throughout their life. I do feel that you, Pile 1, are someone that has been through a lot of change and growth. It's like the person you are now is in some ways unrecognizable to the person you were when you were young, or it's like you took all the potentials that you had when you were young and you did the very best with them. Like, you emerged into yourself in the best possible way. So perhaps you had certain qualities, positive qualities that people could pick up on you in you as a younger person. But of course, not everyone cultivates them. You have, and you've cultivated them to their very, very highest level. And people know this. People can see this. People admire it incredibly about you. Is your transformation and emerging? Yes, take a leap of faith. People, I think, admire very much your ability to go your own way, but also to take risks. Your life may have been somewhat off the beaten path, or there's something about your life path that is not the norm again, and that has allowed you to grow into all of these potentials, all of the seeds that were there when you were young. They were allowed to transform, and you allowed them to transform and to metamorphosize sort of into the most lovely and exquisite and magical butterfly you could be. People can see this about you. People truly, truly admire this about you. But with the butterfly, there's also growth through, yes, change. You may have had an unpredictable life. You may have experienced quite a lot of adversity, but you have bloomed. You have bloomed despite those things, or not even despite them. You've taken your experiences, whatever they were, and you've allowed, they have made you stronger. They've added color to who you are. They've added dimension and depth to who you are, and people truly, truly respect this and admire this about you. We have thunder. Yeah. It's interesting because we have in this Thunder card, I think they're sort of buffalo. They're similar to the elk. Some of you might be Taurians. I'm getting that. But people admire your strength in the face of adversity. Yes. People admire your ability to keep going, stamina. Others can be Capricorns. That's possible. Don't have to be, of course. Just throwing it out there. I think you have immense, with this incredible glowing sun here, people really can see your power. And maybe you don't realize, maybe you are the more modest type, pole one, but people can see how powerful you are, how much power you have gained through adversity and through struggle. And they can see your stamina, that you're not the kind of person that gives up. You're not a quitter. You're able to like actually face, if you have had challenging life experiences, you have faced them head on. You haven't hidden from them. You've almost like rushed right into them. Like you've tackled them and you've made them work for you. You may still be making them work for you. You may be someone that has taken your difficult life experiences and turned them around into something that's almost serving you or propelling you into helping others or allowing you to really glow. Your glow is very evident to other people, and maybe you don't know this, Pole One. People really, really see your glow. They admire your strength, your stamina. There's something almost boisterous, or there's a fighting spirit in you. Like nothing can deter you. It's amazing. It's incredibly powerful. And with the elk here next to this, this is a really gentle elk, actually. This is coming through quite... The elk is a typically more masculine symbol, but there's something about the way this elk is looking up, too. You may be quite a spiritual person. It's like you're both, I think perhaps, Pole One, you're someone that's both quite spiritual but also quite grounded. Or you have a way of actually taking spiritual knowledge and grounding it, and people really, really admire this about you. You ignite people's minds, too. I'm getting that. You create passion. People are passionate about you. You may not realize you're asking what do people admire about you, but you definitely have a lot of sort of admirers that are passionate about who you are, and you make them feel more passionate about life. You connect other people to what is great about life because you're able to see through the darker things. You're able to take a very broad perspective. Again, if you've had difficult life experiences, the way that you have overcome things, transcended certain obstacles, like people admire this so much, but it also inspires them to look at their own lives differently in the way that they're dealing with their own struggles and strife, right? But you are very grounded. People admire how grounded, how you've managed to stay grounded in amongst all of this thunder, because some of you may have experienced quite a lot of chaotic energy that has led you to become this butterfly, struggles, just setbacks, things like that. But there's something about how grounded you are despite those things, but also despite how like you're both very spiritual and almost mystical, but also very grounded. You understand what's important too, and people recognize that you don't. This elk has their head up high, so you're not petty, and you're not interested in sort of the more petty, trivial stuff. You will take the high road. People respect that about you. You're not interested in petty conflicts or what gossip or anything like that. You focus on what is important, and you leave the rest behind. We have humanity here. What a gorgeous card. Humanity, yeah. You're very connected to the world, and you have almost like an Aquarian, some of you may be Aquarians, love of humanity and love of the world. People admire this about you. You're very unbiased, you're very interested in the world, you're very worldly. There's something about the ocean here. You're very connected to the world as a traveler potentially, but also to nature. You may be very connected to nature, and you help other people feel more connected to nature too. And with this eye here, it's like you're a very compassionate person, and people observe this about you. A lot of people would like to be closer to you than they are. That's something that's coming through to me, Pole One. Like a lot of people would like to get closer to you because they can see how compassionate you are, and they would really like to talk to you. I get the sense people would like to talk to you about their problems quite a lot, because you seem like someone who has just dealt with a lot of stuff and dealt with it incredibly well, with so much strength that other people want to know how, because they can see it's almost like you have this kind of manual or a handbook for these things that other people can't access, but people see your humanity and your generosity and your ability to see the best in things. With the maze, again, there's something here about the life story. There's something about you've had a lot to work your way through, but you found your way, like finding your way despite difficult circumstances. Wherever you currently are in your life right now, Pole 1, people perceive you as having moved through a lot of difficult energy, or perhaps even you've had setbacks where you seemed very misaligned, or you seemed like you were taking a weird course. You just didn't seem yourself, but you found your way back. It's like, it's very impressive to people, the way you have this almost like this inner compass, or you've been through so many different cycles, like almost as if people that have known you for a long time, if they saw you at different stages of your life, it was like you were doing completely different things, you're on a completely different path, perhaps you look different, there's something like that. But it's like, but you have found your way, and it's made for a very, very interesting life story. It's like some of you have the kind of life stories that would make great movies, stuff like that. We have the Dreamer here in reverse. This makes me think that perhaps you have been able to achieve things that seemed unlikely, or you're on the path to doing so. With the Dreamer in reverse, people may have thought that you were quite dreamy, or in an ungrounded way. I'm saying that you seem very grounded, or some people may have perceived you in this way in the past. But a lot of people that might have thought that and are now seeing this quite differently is that you have this capacity to turn your dreams to reality, that you are very grounded, and you have this ability to ground your imagination. When you were younger, you may have been much more I want to say not slightly out of touch with reality, but just sort of disconnected, slightly in your own world and things like that. But people see how you've made that work for you, almost like you've almost created your own world by being in your own world, but that world is translating beautifully to the so-called real world, right? You've grounded your imagination, and all of these qualities that could have potentially led you astray have ended up working really well for you. That's amazing. We have Life on Earth here, which is a beautiful card. This speaks all to, there's something very romantic about this card too, but there's something about having a lot, having it all. Maybe you don't feel like you have it all, but people perceive you as just being almost like very well-rounded and almost like the full package, like an ideal partner type person. You may be very wanted. People may find you very desirable, and you may not know this. You may or may not know this, Pole 1, but people see you as sort of the ideal, almost like the kind of holy grail, the kind of person they would want to be with. There may be a lot of people that have their eye on you that you don't realize, that just sort of sees you as like, like Pole 1. I would love to be with someone like Pole 1. I do think that for some of you, if you're single, there's something here. People perceive you as wanted, or like as if you're lucky in love. So if you're single, you might be thinking, not so much. But there's something about you and the way people are aware of people wanting you. So that makes them think that you're someone that's going to have it all, because they see that you already have so much and you're able to achieve and are achieving so much. Again, if you're not quite there, people see this potential in you. Is that because you're so wanted, and perhaps that they're like, oh, you're gonna have it all from life, because it's like there's all of these boxes being ticked. So yeah, take that what you will of that, Pole 1. But we have the Unknown card here. You are also very mysterious to people, the unknown. But this is about what people admire about you. They kind of do admire this element of mystery. Now, you may be somebody that doesn't give a lot of themselves, or they're very careful about what they do give and what they share. So some people may not know that much about the particulars and the details of your life. You keep a lot to yourself, but people actually respect this. Maybe you're not someone that's posting everything on social media. Maybe you're not on social media at all. People respect the way that you maintain this interesting sort of bubble around you. You have this mystique because of that. If you are on social media, it's like you're not there's something about the way you represent yourself or don't represent yourself, or what you choose to share and what you don't, that is not the norm. You don't follow the crowd, you do things your own way, but this unknowability about you, the mystery around you is also like, it has a certain allure, and people really admire and respect this. It's like you just do your own thing. You're doing your own thing. With this, Elk, is like you're focused on other stuff. You're not interested necessarily in what the crowd is doing or trends or just like what other people are doing in general. You're very focused on what you think is important, and people respect that enormously about you, Pile 1. So here we have Astromeria, we have support. They are known as Peruvian lilies. Astromerias carry strong positive sentiments of devotion, friendship, and prosperity. Give them to say, I wish you success and I am here to support you. What I'm getting here is that a lot of people, I'm sensing that a lot of you, like, you have a lot going for you, or people perceive you that way, or perceive you as being successful or on the road to success. Whatever it is that you're doing, people admire it, and people also are rooting for your success, and you maybe don't know that. What people admire about you, people want to see you have it all. Maybe you don't know that. People see you as almost sort of mysteriously supported from the universe, as if you have this sort of mystical connection to the world that they're very curious about. Again, there's so much unknown. People want to know how you do things. You're very, very unusual. You are very, very different from the norm. You have a connection to life, and it allows things to come in your direction, come your way. That not everyone, like, they're just wondering, like, what are you tapping into? What are you tapping into, Pile 1? But overall, wow. People do admire you enormously, and part of that is your ability, yes, to overcome adversity and challenging circumstances and grow anyway, and be so grounded and ground your knowledge and your dreams to reality. But there's also something about just like you don't follow the crowd. You do your own thing. I'm sorry, I just dropped my microphone. I hope you guys can still hear me. I was wrapping that up. I'm being quite clumsy today. I think that says it all for now. What a beautiful pile. If this does sound like you, please do, let me know in the comments below if you're relating to this. I'd love to hear from you guys. Do like, subscribe, and all the usual stuff. But thank you guys for stopping by, and I look forward to reading for you the next time. Bye. Hello, Pile 2, and welcome to your reading. You picked the Black Tourmaline, and today we're asking all about what people admire about you. So what do people respect and look up to about you, your unique qualities? We want to know. So of course this is general. Take only what feels like it's meant for you. Wow. Pile 2, you have the golden unicorn. My goodness. The coyote, okay. You have the mouse. Some very interesting energies here, some very different energies at the top of the read here. We have Thor, we have the Weaver, we have 4 of trees, we have the 3 of birds, we have, just knocked that candle, sorry about that. We have the 5 of trees, and your flower here is the Scabiosa. Interesting. Let me just make sure these are straight for you guys, otherwise I know it's a little bit annoying otherwise. Just want to check this frame. Okay, so Pile 2, golden unicorn. Wow. I mean, I must say, I think people do find you quite different, quite exceptional. You're a standout the crowd type, Pile 2, that's for sure. Like, you're not somebody that people encounter every day, and people truly respect your difference, how different you are, how in tune you are with your own unique self. Some of you may be Aquarians, Aquarius rising, or there's something about that you're very, very authentic, and you don't worry about what other people are doing. Like, that's something fundamentally that people just truly, truly, truly respect about you. You are not like everyone else. There is something very magical about you. You may be very, very spiritual people. Ascension, you may be very committed and disciplined to a spiritual path and very developed in those areas, and people particularly admire and respect this about you, and may even seek out your knowledge. They may want to be like you in this way. They may want to reach your level. Yes, but they see you as being connected to all of the mystery and the beauty of the world, and they want that too. It's sort of like you're just very awakened, Paltu. People sense it when they're around you. With this coyote, it's like you see everything too. You have a very, very fierce gaze. You're incredibly intelligent, very insightful. You're very psychologically intelligent. Some of you may be psychologists or therapists. That's coming through to me. And if that's the case, people really, really admire you in your field. Maybe clients, just people you interact with. In general, people that when you interact with people one-to-one, you make them feel very seen and understood. People admire that. People admire your mind and the way that you're able to convey things in a very clear way, the way you're able to interpret more abstract and mysterious and oblique things in a way that's very clear. People really, really admire this about you. Many people find you very physically alluring, very physically attractive. Your eyes, I think, they admire something about your appearance or your personal style, which may also be very unique, right? People admire that about you. People could gaze into your eyes for a long time. There's something very, very special about you. So the mouse, oh, interesting. The mouse also always makes me think of humility and being humble. You may be this golden unicorn, Paltu, but I think you also have humility. Or what I'm picking up with this mouse is that you have this sense of perspective of the largeness of the world and the complexity of the world. So you're able not to fixate on small things or little things. It's like you have a sense of the scope of things, and you're also able to convey that to others, whatever it is that you do. It's like and just in general, when people are around you, they're able to take a much more broad perspective. You may be very knowledgeable about the world or just have a lot of knowledge in general. I was picking this up with the coyote, a very, very, very keen and intelligent mind, but because of that, you're able to direct other people to things around them, away from the more trivial or stressful aspects of life to something broader. That's what's coming through. Like, you never lose a sense of wonder in the world and just how important it is to be engaged with the world. Some of you may be activists. Some of you, you're just like, you have a lot of passions. You may have strong politics, things like that. And the way that you're able to really act on things and have a sense of like belief in the potential of the world and how the world could be better, how the world in general could be less, just has this magical potential. The way that you're able to actually act and do, people admire that about you so much. Wow, Paltu. Thor. Yeah. Some of you may be quite well traveled too. And have had a lot, and be quite bold, quite intrepid. People admire that about you. Yeah. You may be skilled in things like, some of you may be quite athletic and have skills in certain areas, be very active. Some of you may be runners or like you do like marathons or maybe abroad or something like that. There's something like that coming through to me. People really admire that. People admire your stamina, your strength. The way you treat your body, people admire that. People admire your body. Paltu. But there's something about roots and loops coming. Yeah, I don't know. I think you're runners or something like that. There's something about the way you use your body or your physical strength. Some of you may be athletes. The Weaver. You have a deep sense of focus on what is important. That's coming through to me with this Weaver card. Same with the Mouse card. It's like you're very focused. You like, it's like you don't bother with the little things. You're just like, you're very focused, and you don't like your focus to be distracted. People know not to come to you with their little annoyances or just like being gossipy or critical. That's not you, Paltu. You're very focused on. It's like, I feel like you probably have a very full calendar. You don't want to waste time. You know your time is precious. You're very able to give your time one-on-one to people, but you have a lot of interests, a lot of priorities, so you don't waste time. You're very, very, very active, I think, Paltu. You don't waste time. You have a very, very, very strong sense of purpose, and you're a very, if you have a dream and an ideal, and like I said, I was sensing that perhaps you have strong politics, strong ideals, you may be activists, you will put these ideals into action. You will act on them rather than just contemplate them. So we have the Four of Trees, which is a very celebratory card. Some of you may be very connected to the earth or to your home, to your community, to the landscape that you live in, and cultivating that and caring for it. I think people really admire that for you. People just in general admire how caring and devoted you are, how serious you are. You have this seriousness to you and this sense of purpose. It's like you're very, very driven. It's like you have this divine sense of purpose, Paltu. Not everyone feels that, and I think when they're around you, people really feel like they did just feel like they, because you have so much energy to tap into, and people wonder where you get your energy from, and where you kind of get your passion from. A lot of people feel a little bit lazy next to you. I mean, it's just that, but this is what people admire. They admire this so much about you. This coyote's eyes are just like pinging, right? You're so determined and you're so very focused on whatever it is that you're currently focused on. We have the Three of Birds here, so you don't let things knock you down. I am sensing that some of you may have been through a difficult breakup, either recently or in the past, and this is something that people admire about you, how you handle heartbreak. It doesn't have to be a breakup, but just heartbreak of some kind, how you have handled that. Because it, at least from the outside, it looks like it hasn't knocked you down. It looks like as if you just sort of, you keep going. You find a way not to let setbacks set you back. People really admire that. You may have faced certain difficult circumstances, so, just things surrounding you. People really admire the way you have dealt with difficult circumstances. They think you have a lot of grace, of the ability to take the high road, to take a broader perspective, basically not to let things get to you. We have the Five of Trees here. Because you may have gone through times where you felt quite disconnected, or some of you may have gone through times where you've had struggles around your living situation or money problems, things like that. People just admire the way that you are very resourceful, and also you're just sort of, you get through things. Well, this is the appearance, this is the idea people have of you, Paltu. You may disagree. This is you, what people admire about you. You may not feel this way at all, but people just perceive you as somebody that is also just like, they see that you have had setbacks and you have had difficult times, but the way that you just like power on is just, it's almost superhuman. The golden unicorn, like they see you as just like a little bit almost like you're superhuman, like you just have this ability to keep going. It's not just about keeping going, it's about maintaining a connection to life, to your own passions, to what is important, all of these things. Like many people wish, like I do think a lot of people observe you and wonder how you do it and wish they could be more like you. So your flower here, this amazing purple scabosia, warmth, yes. These charming little flowers, bundle, given to someone to show your warmth, love, and admiration. Grieving the death of a spouse. So this won't apply for all, because this is very specific. But if some of you have lost a spouse to death, even, I was sensing some of you may have been through just heartbreak. Like people just incredibly have so much admiration for the way that you handle yourself, your strength, just your dignity, and your just, it's quite extraordinary. And your warmth in general, even when things aren't going well for you, even when you're in difficult times, you don't take it out on the world, you don't take it out on other people, you just keep going. You have a warmth about you, you have time. Look at the warmth of these colors. You have time for people. But even in your darkest times, that's what I'm getting, even when you've been through very difficult circumstances, you have still had time for others, you have had warmth for others, you have shown up for others, and you have just had this amazing grace and just composure about it, and people admire you tremendously. Wow, Paul, too. What a brilliant read. You sound absolutely amazing. If this is you, I'd love to hear from you. Please do leave me a message in the comments if this sounds like you. Like, subscribe, and all the usual stuff that helps build this little channel. But it was a pleasure to read for you, Paul, too. Like I said, you sound just wonderful, and I look forward to reading for you next time. Bye, guys. Hello, Group 3s. You picked the Lapis Lazuli, and today we're asking all about what people admire about you. So what people sort of love and respect about you that you might not know. So obviously this is a collective read, so please take only what feels like it's meant for you and leave the rest. Wow, we have the lion, we have fire, definitely some Leos in this pile. We have the hummingbird, we have wreath, we have the Ace of Embers, we have the Seven of Embers, we have the Nine of Lotuses, we have the Veil, and your flower ally here is the Carnation. Wow. Pile 3s. Like I said, yes, I think some of you are definitely Leos, but this is a very fiery pile. Very, very fiery. So yeah, fire signs, Aries, Sagittarius also. Of course, you don't have to be. And, you know, with astrology, with our natal charts, we can, of course, be, for instance, a water sign, but other personal placements may be in fire signs, so the fire tends to be dominant in the chart. It all depends. So this lion, honor your soul and celebrate its journey. Oh yeah, I'm getting all the kind of classic Leonine qualities of being very strong, very noble, having a lot of integrity, honoring yourself, who you are. I'm getting off the bat, like, there's something unconventional about your journey, Pile 3, something about the things you've gone through. Like, there's been curveballs in your path, or you've had to kind of think on your feet throughout your life. There's something almost Uranian, so unexpected in terms of your life experiences, where you've had to kind of adapt to things with strength, with patience. And I think that is how you face life, with this very lion-like, honor-filled generosity. But there's something coming through to me about child-like. I mean, Leo's house is also the 5th house, which is, you know, often about, sorry, clear my throat there, sorry about that, about the inner child. I feel like Pile 3s, you're someone that's managed to maintain their sense of almost childlike innocence, which is not to say that you are naive, not at all. I'm picking up on a lot of strength and a lot of growth that you've experienced, perhaps more than the norm. Let me have a closer look at this lion. I'm getting so much from this lion. You're someone that's just able to be steadfast in the face of challenge. And I think people really, really respect this about you, but also that you've sort of, whatever has happened to you in your life, you've maintained almost like a childlike sense of wonder or innocence, generosity, kindness, things like that. But yeah, there's definitely something unexpected about your journey, or yeah, I'm getting curveballs, or things being sort of challenges, things being thrown in your way, that people just observe and watch how you handle things and have a great amount of respect for that and for you. And we have fire here, this great ball of fire. Oh my god, the red and the orange, so strong. I think people find you very passionate, very uncompromising at times in your passions. Like, you know who you are, Pile 3. You know who you are. You'll say what you think. You're not cruel about these things, though, and you're not petty. That's a very Leo thing, too. You have a strong sense of right and wrong, and you're willing to fight for things. There's such a fighting spirit coming through this pile, also with this 7 of Embers underneath this, which has a phoenix in it, too. So it's like, you're not afraid of, you're not easily intimidated by anyone. So it doesn't matter, even if you had like, you know, the most powerful people in front of you, you would sort of respond in the same way. So you have a strong sense of self, a very strong sense of who you are, and you're not going to change depending on the company. People respect that about you. But fire, yeah, you're just, there's something very electric about you. So when people are around you, it's almost like being battery powered. Like they get this boost of energy, and it's not necessarily every day. You don't have to be that way all the time, pile 3, because there is also a kind of stillness and a patience and a watchfulness about you as well. But in general, you're just such a passionate person that's very up for adventures. I'm getting like you're just up for whatever comes your way, and you want to take what life is offering. Like you want to get the most of your life, and you like to have a lot of experiences. You don't like to sit around. Perhaps you do relax sometimes and just kind of chill, let the hours pass, but I'm getting more the sense that you like to fill your time with things and really feel like you're having a very direct experience of life by actively pursuing things, activities, things like that. That's what I'm getting. And we do have the hummingbird card here, and the hummingbird, of course, is known for not being able to be still, right? But it's the most beautiful thing to watch, and I do think that this is the energy that you give off to people at times. There may be something a little restless about you, or kind of you're just sort of always on your toes. Something kinetic is the word that's coming through to me. Dynamic. So some of you may also be Geminis. That's a kind of a Gemini vibe. Geminis always have to have something going on. But there's something very beautiful about this to other people, to watch the way you live and the way you are and the way you behave, because it's like you don't want to miss anything. It's that Aerosmith song that just came into my head. That old Aerosmith song, Don't Want to Miss a Thing. That's you, Paltry. And again, this redness here is coming through to me so strongly. So that is speaking to the root chakra. So I do think that you are someone that's able to make things happen. You do a lot, but you're also able to ground things. You're able to create things in a real world sense. They don't get the sense that you're sort of someone that sits around, on their laurels, dreaming things. You're very much someone that learns by doing. I think that you're, for instance, in school, maybe you may have struggled just watching somebody explain something to you, like on a blackboard or whiteboard. It's just like, you need to get in there, put your hands in, like you need to get in there and learn by actually having experience. It may be this very kind of attitude to life, which has led you to so much unexpected things. You may have had some misadventures, in fact, but people really respect and admire your ability to adapt to these whatever these misadventures were, or however they take you, like to adapt to them. They don't let you, it doesn't dim your spirit or this incredible hummingbird energy and appetite for life if something doesn't go as planned, or if something blows up in your face a little bit, because this is a very adventurous energy that I'm picking up. So we have a wreath, which does sometimes speak to sort of endings and memorializing things. I think you have had to let go of a lot, and I was picking up just sort of having to adapt to change or unexpected changes. Despite this very electric, active energy, you're not restless internally. Because these are two different things. It's like not all who wander are lost, right? You might seem on the outside to be very active, somebody that doesn't pause so much, pause to reflect, but I think you are reflective. I think you are very reflective. And I think you have, I don't think that you are internally restless. I think internally you are able to process things. You are able to examine yourself. You're not somebody that hides from your dark side. Yes, you're somebody that will process your emotion. I think some of you are very likely, if you're not a fire sign, perhaps have a moon sign in Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, because the vibe I'm getting is that often with moons, the moon speaks to our emotional processing, really, how we handle our emotions. And fire signs tend to live them out. They find a way to express those emotions rather than, for instance, internalize them or brood on them or what have you, or overthink them. So this is, I think you have this quality, Pal 3, of if you go through a difficult experience, you're able to find a way to express that pain so you don't carry it around, so it doesn't create energetic blockages, things like that. And however you go about these things, people acknowledge this about you. If you've had some painful setbacks, it's like no one would ever pity you. No one would ever feel sorry for you because you're so strong. You have such a show of just strength that you can just handle whatever life throws at you. And you may privately, of course, when you're by yourself, head on the pillow, struggle as we all do. But people admire your ability to face your emotions, to process your emotions, to not be fearful of your emotions, which I also respect because I do not have a fire moon. I have a little fire in my chart, but not much. So I really respect this about people that are very fiery. But you do have this ability to look deeply at yourself and deeply into yourself, and know when you need a time out too. You know when you can't give of people. You know when the adventures are no longer perhaps helpful, or at least temporarily, because, you know, who wants to give up adventures? But like, you know when you need time to yourself, to and people know not to get in your way. People know not to disturb you if you need your you time. So the Ace of Embers, my God, still it's so fiery, right? This is like an amazing colorful ball of fire. This is the Ace of Wands. So sorry, my throat. Clear my throat here. The Ace of Embers, this is all about the spark, new beginnings. It's about creative inspiration. Like I said, you have follow through with your creative ideas, Pile 3. Like, you put your dreams into action. But I think you also have a lot of ideas. I think, for instance, if whatever work that you do, and many of you may do very creative work, this is a very creative energy with all of this orange coming through and the redness. So you're someone that will always come up with, I'm totally getting like, maybe you're like a Gemini sun with an Aries moon, a Leo, it's just, there's this strong Gemini energy coming through to me as well. So maybe a significant Gemini placement. But like, for instance, if you're working like within a group and you're brainstorming, like, you can always be relied on to have a very creative and original idea or something. Like, you're always like, you have this great imagination. It's like a toolbox that you're always able to pull something out of. And again, like when I said at the beginning, the lion, this idea of the inner child, it's because I think you're very connected to that part of you, that childlike part of you that has this unbound imagination. I think you've maintained that, which again, yeah, it's not to say you're immature or naive or anything like that. No, not at all. You've just managed to protect that part of you that is inspired, that is connected to wonder, that is able to completely immerse themselves in their imagination, which is why you're so adventurous, right? So people admire incredibly your innovative thinking, your ability to come up with new ideas, the Seven of Embers, and your ability to achieve them and stand behind them. You may have found yourself in situations where you've had to defend your ideas, that's coming through, and you've been able to win people over, Pile 3. Like, if there's something, like, let's say you had to do a presentation, or you just had to debate something, you're very, very good at winning people over and impressing people, and people will come to your point of view quite quickly and quite easily, because there's something about you and your passion that makes people think, oh... But you're very, very persuasive too. You're very persuasive. You're able to put your point across in a way that doesn't cause other people to be defensive, but makes them think, yeah, I want to be on this person's team. Wow, Pile 3. You sound really fun, really great. So 9 of Lotuses, this is like the 9 of Cups. This is such a great card. The wish fulfilled, like the card of just satisfaction, satiation, sort of the cat getting the cream, all of that. So I do think this is just a general feel-good thing. What do people admire about you? Well, they just admire the way that you live, the way that you're able to enjoy enjoy life, get the most out of your experiences of life. Pleasure, you're connected to pleasure. Again, this is very Leo, very 5th house stuff. You're able to, like if you show up at a party, you're going to have a good time. You're going to make sure that you have a good time, because that's what you came for. And you're able, again, in this sort of inner child thing, to this childlike thing, to make fun. If something's got a bit stale and a little bit uninteresting, then you're able to create fun. It's like, this is what life is for, right? You're supposed to be enjoying yourself. You're supposed to be having a good time. But people have a good time around you. People find you just like very pleasing to the senses, attractive, all of these things. Now we do have the veil here at the end of the spread, which is a much more spiritual card. We have this under the hummingbird, and of course, pile 3, you're watching this reading, so you obviously have a side of you that is very much internal, like you're interested in self-development, you're interested in your own depths, you're interested in different aspects of life. Like I was saying, there's like this desire to make the most of your time and to have the most draw the most experience of life. And for you, I think that also includes like the different layers of life, spiritual development, things like this, having very interesting kinds of experiences. Like, for instance, you might be interested in just like spiritual practices, particularly when it comes to things like music, dance, things like that, anything that includes celebration sorry, and an element of play. Like, I think that's right up your street, pile 3, an element of play. But these things are really important to you. Your spirituality, I think, is very, very important to you, and developing in that way. And this is what keeps you connected to that childlike sense of wonder and imagination, but also to your sense of morals and integrity and right and wrong. These things are very, very important to you. Again, very Leo stuff. Integrity, honor, knowing what is important, all of that. So, okay, your flower here is the carnation, and we have uniqueness. Wow. Flowers of the gods. Carnations were believed to hold the power to prevent people from being put to death. That's good. Well, carnations generally stand for distinction. Different colors carry their nuances. Yellow carnations. Oh, we have the pink ones. The pink ones suggest motherly love and encouragement. Red evoke admiration and compassion. Yeah, uniqueness. Compassion. I think people appreciate your compassion, your kindness, your generosity, your integrity, all of those things, uniqueness. But they also see all of these qualities that I've described in you, pile 3. People see them as very uncommon. Like, you don't see people like you a lot. Not a lot of people are like you, pile 3, because just the combination of this incredible, like, you show up to life. Like, you show up to life and you experience life, and you're committed to being a good person. You're committed also to developing yourself. People acknowledge how unusual you are in the best sense, and how the qualities you have are not things that they come across every day. So yeah. Pile 3, it has been an absolute pleasure. You sound like a wonder, truly. If this is you, please, I would love to hear from you. Do let me know in the comments, and do like, subscribe, and all the usual stuff. But yeah, I look forward to reading for you the next time, pile 3. Take care. Bye. Hello, pile 4, and welcome to your reading. You picked the clear quartz. And today we're asking all about what people most admire about you. So a nice feel-good read. What do people most admire and respect about you that you wouldn't necessarily know, that they might not express? Of course, this is a general read. Take only what feels like it's meant for you. Sorry. Struggling today with the talking stuff. So we have peacock, we have water, we have a firefly, nice. We have mycelium, we have the 10 of embers, we have the orbs, interesting card, we have the 7 of trees, we have the ace of trees, and we have the freesia as your flower here, pile 4. Okay, so let's get into this. What do people most admire about you? Peacock, self-love, time to celebrate you and your magnificent light. People admire a lot about you, pile 4. I think you are a very striking person, perhaps in the way you look, but also just you. Like, you're very impressive in one way or the other. Like, you impress people, and and there is a strength to you. There's something just sparkly about you that people immediately notice. And but I'm not getting that you're this very kind of I'm not getting that you're necessarily trying to draw attention to yourself. And I think these qualities are mostly internal qualities. You have self-love, you have self-respect. People respect your self-respect, Pile 4. People respect the way that you embody yourself. There's something about your composure. There's something quite dignified about you. You're dignified in general. You have a kind of grace or maturity, I'm getting. You're mature. People admire that about you. You're very knowledgeable. There's something quite sophisticated or suave about this too. But your magnificent light, yeah, you have a very just an obvious light. And we have this, okay, with the firefly too. There's a glow. You have a glow to you. And with this blueness on the peacock, some of you may speak or write particularly well, and people admire and respect that about you. And the iridescence of the peacock feather, yeah, it's just quite magical. Something that you do is quite magical. There's a lot of blue here. And with this water as well, water is something, and the element that we associate with the emotions, right? But also with the subconscious. There's something about people see you as both sort of composed and dignified, but there's this deep well of emotion that is somehow evident to others, and the way that you handle your emotions, people respect and admire. You have a lot of depth, and people recognize that, but there's also the ability to speak and convey something about these depths, and this depth of knowledge and the depth of emotions that you do have, that people have this just extraordinary respect for it, but admiration, yeah, almost like fans. Like you have fans that maybe you don't realize. People just sort of watching something that you do. Again, it could be to do with speaking or writing, but just something that you're conveying. It may be something creative that just a lot of people are just love what you do. And they find it so graceful. They find you so kind of dignified. Yeah, there's mature. I don't know why mature keeps coming. Maybe there's something unusually almost refined. I guess when we speak about maturity, we're talking about a kind of worldliness. It's like you've lived a lot. You may be younger or older, but you come across as this very mature soul. With the firefly too, you light up dark things. You're able to shine a light in the darkness. You're able to glow. So there may be something about your work that you do. Maybe you're helping others. Maybe you go into darker spaces. Maybe you go to these shadow spaces of the world or of your own psyche, and you're able to like strike a match there, light something up, make something visible and luminous and all of that. And people just have a tremendous respect. Like there's so much admiration coming through to me here. This is what this reader is about. But pile 4, you guys, you have a lot of admirers, and the strength of that admiration I think is much more than a lot of you know, because I think there is a modesty to you, because there is a very internal quality to you, a very inward focused quality. But with this firefly, it's like also you're kind of at home in the dark. With this dark spaces too, it's like perhaps a lot of you, like maybe you work in an area that requires you to kind of face some kind of difficult side of life, but you do so with so much grace, maturity, positivity, stuff like that. Mycelium. For those that don't know, mycelium is the fungal network that is sort of like the carpet of forests, and it's sort of the way through, fungi, mushrooms, the way that trees talk to each other. So I do think with this, people talk about what you do. Like I was picking up that you have fans, but it's like people also talk. They talk about you, but they're also they're discussing your work in some way. Whatever it is that you put out there, people are discussing it amongst themselves in a very positive way. There's a network. You have fans. Wow, pile 4. The 10 of Embers, yeah. You know what I'm getting here is shooting star. some of you may be successful, some of you may be on the road to success, but either way, people perceive you as a star in whatever it is that you do. Again, it's sort of similar to the firefly, in that you sort of light up the dark, or the shooting star. It's like you are a star, and it may be that you're doing something magical and light filled in dark circumstances, something like that. Yeah, it's so interesting. Ten of Embers is also sort of like the ten of Wands. So it's like you have had to take on a lot, you have had to do a lot, but you're doing it with grace and dignity. Underneath this peacock, it's like whatever burdens or trials you've had in life, you face them with grace and dignity and an enormous strength and a depth of character. People admire this so much, and they see you as this star. They see you as a star. So whether or not you are successful in your field, I mean, you have fans, which would suggest that you have some degree of success, or people can see what you're doing at least. But people see you as a star. And we have the orbs here. So again, like, I'm not quite sure. I don't think I've seen this card before. This is, again, I'm just getting like people coming together in admiration of you and discussing something about your work in the most positive way, though. It's almost like, for some of you, if you're writers, it's almost like a reading group vibe, where people look at your work or whatever it is that you're doing, and they'll try to interpret it and discuss it. There's a big discussion vibe here with the orbs. You ignite people's imaginations, Pile 4. Yeah. And you cause people to also self-reflect, which is such an interesting thing, right? There's just something about you that causes people to reflect on themselves and how they go about life, because you are so dignified. You're so sophisticated. It may be that there's things you make people want to learn about whatever it is that you're doing. We have the 7 of Trees here too. People do sense your boundaries, I think, and sense your self-protectiveness. A lot of people would like to get to know you better or be closer to you. Yeah, people that are good friends probably want to be close friends, stuff like that. But they sense your boundaries, and people aren't always aware of whether you may be kind of a little bit of a lone wolf, or you do things your own way, and people sort of don't know whether you're almost even open to them at times. So some people are sort of just, they admire you from afar, and maybe you don't realize this. People would like to get closer to you, but they don't necessarily know how or if you're open to them. But it's like, yeah, you have a lot of people that would like to be closer in your orbit. Again, there's something about the glow. The glow. You have this glow. If people, for instance, hear about you, or they perceive your work or something that you're doing, they don't forget about it. It plays on their mind. They discuss it with others, and it keeps drawing them back. They want to know what you're going to do next. They keep returning, and it plays on their mind. So whatever it is that you do, it has this real echo effect. Like, it has such an effect on people. Like, it reverberates in their minds. Maybe you don't know this, the effect that you have on others, but it just like, it plays on their minds. They discuss it. And also, it just like, it illuminates something for them, something about life. And there's just a warmth here too. With the Ace of Trees. Yeah, the Ace of Trees is sort of like the Ace of Pentacles, which is like sort of the golden opportunity, right? People do perceive you as this sort of star, but they're also like, they just think that you just have it. You have the it factor. You just have something about you, Pile 4. Wow, this is quite a read. You have something about you, and it's undeniable. It's like there's something golden about you. You have these magical roots too. Look, you're sort of shooting for the stars. You are this sort of shooting star in people's eyes, but there's something very magical about your roots and your depths. You have this depth. and I think that's probably what people most admire about you. Like, you have this amazing watery depth to you, but you're also able to convey it in some way that just like really reverberates in people's minds. It's so impressive. I do think if there are people that want to get close to you, but they're sort of not, they maybe might take a baby step towards you, it's because they sort of are in awe of you. They do admire and respect you so much that perhaps they would like to reach out and message you or tell you how they like your work, but they're just sort of there's something about you that's quite private or just separate from the crowd, and they just don't feel like they can, or they just don't know how you would receive people. Not that you would be hostile, but it's just like, yeah, this is interesting. So let's have a look at your flower here. We have a lot of yellow here, and yellow speaks of the solar plexus, which is all about personal power, and I think you have a lot of it that people admire for sure. Pearl 4, wow, freesia, trust. Freesias have a delightful scent and are used extensively in the perfume and beauty industries. Yeah, a wonderful way to send messages of hope and remind someone that you care. Yeah. Faithfulness, fidelity, innocence, and trust. Trust. Yeah. There's something about you too, Pearl 4, that you make people, again, this firefly, it's like hope in the dark. You restore people's faith in something. You make people believe in the best of people, of other people too. I think people perceive you as being very good. There's something distant about you. There's something very sophisticated and refined that's slightly intimidating, maybe, but they also perceive you as very good, a very good person, that it almost gives them a certain faith in humanity, and it has something about what you do makes people feel that way, which is just like, what a read, Pearl 4. Interesting spread to end on. If this feels like it's for you, I'd love to hear from you guys. Please do let me know in the comment section. Would love to hear from you, and yeah, like, subscribe, and all the usual stuff. But Pearl 4, yeah, keep shining, shine on with this, your shooting star. Yeah, it was a pleasure, and I look forward to reading for you again next time. Bye, guys. Pile 5, welcome to your reading. Thank you so much for joining me here today. We are asking all about what people admire about you. So you picked the Pyrite here. Yeah, we want to know what people admire, respect, love about you that you wouldn't necessarily know. So of course this is a general read. Take only what feels like it's meant for you. Sloth, amazing. The Sacrifice. We have the Moth and the Sloth. Nice little rhyme there. We have the Celestial Realm. Let me just bring this in a little bit. Sorry. We have the 3 of Embers. We have the 4 of Lotuses. We have the 8 of Trees. We have the Elementalist. And your flower ally here is the Phlox. Nice. Okay, let me just make sure these are nice and lined up for you. Pile 5. So the Sloth, let's get into this. You have a lot of charm, Pile 5. That's what's coming through to me with the Sloth. The Sloth are obviously a very chill sort of creature, very slow moving. You may be like that too, very chill, but you are very warm and very charming. It's charm that's most coming through to me here. You have an amazing warmth, Pile 5, that people pick up on immediately. You are very good-natured, and when people meet you, they sort of immediately feel like they can be themselves. There's a very kind of Venus-y vibe to this. You may have strong Taurus Libra placements, or just like there's great Venus aspects in your chart, something like that, because you know how to communicate with people and you know how to put people at ease. You may not be a huge communicator. You may not be someone that tries to win people over, but you just have a natural warmth, a natural glow that makes people comfortable and relaxed, which is an amazing quality, Pile 5. Yeah. and there's something very smiley about you with this Sloth. Yeah, your smile is very lovely, and people just find you charming to be around. It's charm is just coming off this sloth for me. You may be very committed with this digital detox, recalibrate, reset, and recharge energy. It's like you may be very committed to certain spiritual practices, to just making sure you maintain a sense of inner harmony that allows you to be this very warm and loving energy, right? Which may include for you a lot of time out, for instance, in really developing your spirituality and becoming the person that you want to be. Because Pearl 5, you may have had difficult life, experiences, early life experiences, or just like I get this feeling that you weren't always in this energy. Like this is energy that you've come from inner peace that you've had to fight for. So if you're giving off this very peaceful vibe, it's like, I don't think you were born that way. I think you have had to cultivate that, and you had to, in some cases, fight for it by working through some, old wounds, doing a lot of healing work, stuff like that. We have the sacrifice. Yeah. It's interesting because we have a butterfly here, and we also have this moth. With the sacrifice, I do think Pearl 5s, it's like you have been through a major transformation, and it does feel to me quite private and internal, but on the other hand, it's like people have observed it in some way or the other, even if it's quite indirect. You may have gone through substantial inner change, and this never happens. It's sort of like an awakening process. This never happens without being observable to others. People sense change in us, even if it feels like we're behaving in the same, like we can't change internally without things changing in our outer world, right? Or at least the way people observe us. And people really admire and are very curious and interested in the transformations you've been going through and your devotion to making your life strong and your world strong. People admire your devotion, yes, to your own transformation, because you may have experienced setbacks and struggles. I am getting a lot of early life, just perhaps difficult family issues, or just things perhaps you didn't feel like you had, definitely didn't have a sort of a leg up in life, like you've had to fight for your gains for sure. But there's a lot of things that you've had to overcome, and people observe how you've managed to become this very loving, peaceful person despite a lot of things that you've had to deal with. But there's something about the transformation itself, and there's something also about being focused on the right things. There's focus and devotion here. You may have had opportunities, for instance, that seemed lucrative or fruitful, or like the kind of thing other people will be like, whoa. But you may have passed up certain things because you wanted to follow a different path, a path that would provide you the most peace and harmony and love and all of these things. And people really respect that about you. Pile 5, they do. But you know what's important. You know what's important, what isn't. You're very, very focused on what you want, and you're able to let you're able to let the rest go, I think. Yeah. So this moth, there's a tenderness here with this moth, a vulnerability. You're able to sit in your vulnerability, Pearl 5. Things that might scare other people, they don't scare you. You're able to face your own shadow with courage and grow through that. Wings, too. Many of you may have traveled. You may travel frequently. You have a love of the world, and I think a love of nature. This green and yellow, you're very, very open-hearted with whoever you meet. It doesn't mean you don't have boundaries, but you try to connect with whoever you encounter on a soul level, and you try to see people through the lens of sort of unconditional love, things like that. It's very admirable. I mean, it's very admirable, and people do see it, and people do admire it. Your ability to engage with whoever shows up in your world, regardless of background, and you're just sort of, you don't discriminate. You are sort of just loving and open. Yeah, we have the celestial realm, so I love this card. More green here. Yeah, you're very committed to this idea of unconditional love, or kind of transcending some more difficult just the petty things that come up, ego stuff. Like, you're committed to transcending those kinds of things, and you're sort of focused on something higher, or you have a sort of set of principles or ways that things that you honor, the way that you would like things to be. You have ideals about how people should treat each other, and you're very committed to honoring those things. Some of you may have sort of strong sort of psychic abilities and a psychic sense, or the ability to sort of just see other people's wounds as well. I'm getting that. A lot of you may be healers. So you may be a practitioner of some kind. Reiki's coming through to me, but things that you do, like, you're very, very committed to helping others overcome wounds, to heal, because I think this is what you think the world is. The best use of your time and gifts and what you can contribute to the world is healing others, is allowing other people to face their darkness, their shadows with courage, which is something that you've done. So now you want to pay that forward, and people just value and admire this so much. Pile 5, the 3 of embers. This is the 3 of wands. Yeah, again, there's something here about leading others, sometimes leading others into, there's a very much a healing vibe. So whatever it is that you do, Pile 5, it's like you take people through by the hand, and you're able to walk with them through their struggles, to assist, to serve. Yeah, you ease people's fears, Pile 5, because you have the ability to, because you're fearless. And when people observe this in you and have this admiration and respect for it, it then becomes an invitation for them to find those same qualities. Like, this fearlessness of yours is it's sort of contagious, that it makes other people think, okay, I too can be fearless. Like Pile 5, I have this in me. I have this capacity to overcome my fears and to walk into my darkness, my shadow, and to make things, to heal myself and heal my life. We have the 4 of lotuses. So this is sort of like the 4 of cups. Yeah, you will, especially under this sloth, digital detox, you have the ability to drown out the world, Pile 5. Like, the world and its conventions and trends, and like the world, at least perhaps you live in a place that's different from the place you grew up in, but there's very little noise around you. So it's almost like you have an ability to tune out the world, which is very admirable, because you know that the world is really what you decide, what you focus on, what you devote yourself to. And the world can look very different to you depending on where you are. Like, it's really your choice what you let into your energy field. So you turn a lot of things away. If you don't want something in your energy field, it's not going to be there. With the 4 of cups, you will refuse it. No, you're very, very careful about what you let in, and maintaining a sense of harmony around you, and also the things that you don't like, don't respect. I'm getting something also about, you may have grown up in a very kind of capitalistic, like just a very wealthy city or something where there's a lot of money around, or a lot of just fast-paced something, and you're living now perhaps in a very different way. But you like to tune these things out and connect to your own values. A lot of this stuff you have left behind. We have the 8 of trees. Yeah. It's the bridges that are coming through to me. You are committed to a certain ideal also of how the world could be or should be, or just the growth and consciousness of people and humanity in general, which is quite an Aquarian vibe. I wasn't really picking up on many signs. With Venus, with Taurus and Libra, that's possible. But this 8 of trees, you're very committed, and you're putting the work in to try to achieve this goal. And it has to do with it's like it has to do with healing. It has to do with developing people's consciousness, really. And we have the Elementalist here. I love this card so much. Yeah, you are a dreamer as well, Pole 5. Like, you see the best in the world, but it also then makes it kind of painful, the darkness in the world, or there's a lot about the world that you don't like, and you want to filter it out, and you want this, you want the world to look a different way, but you will put the work in, like the work that you're doing, whatever it is you're doing. I think for some of you it is healing work of some kind. Like, you know, you have a vision here of how the world could be better. And you're so committed to this vision. You put a lot of effort into it. You are devoted to the world being a better place, which is, my God, that's amazing. Pole 5, you're amazing. This is a beautiful, beautiful read. Like, I have to take a breath here. But let's have a look at your flower ally here. We have this amazing pink. It's a phlox. I don't think that's how you say it. Unity, yeah. Phlox is the Greek word for flame. These fiery characters are known and adored for their clustered, brightly coloured flowers. Yeah. Phlox carries heartwarming sentiments of souls being united, and it once believed that it could be used to cast friendship and relationship spells. It can also mean agreement and understanding. Yeah. Yeah, unity. Like, this is again quite Venus. So yeah, some of you maybe have strong Libra Taurus in your charts, but it's like unity. It's like you want to connect with people, you want to help people, you want to see the best in people. It's like you feel like, as much as there's things you don't like about the world, you sort of think there's potential in everyone to change and for things to be better. So there's no one that would show up at your door, for instance, or show up in your world that you would think to be a lost cause. You're very open in that way. You aren't judgmental, but there are things that you don't like. So if people, like I said, there's a lot of qualities of the world that you're trying to shut out. So you believe that people can sort of change and develop, but at a certain point you will close the door on certain things. But overall, people just so much admire your compassion, your care for others, the sense you have of the way you take care of people. Like, it's just, this is beautiful, Pole 5. You seem like beautiful people, and if this sounds like you, please do let me know in the comment box. I would love to hear from you guys, and yeah, like, subscribe, and all the usual. But it was a pleasure, Pole 5, and I look forward to reading for you the next time. Take care. Bye. Hello, Pole 6. Welcome to your reading. You picked the red calcite here, and today we're asking all about what people admire about you. So yeah, what do people admire, respect, and love about you that you wouldn't necessarily know? That's what we want to know. So yeah, obviously this is a collective read, so take only what feels like it's meant for you. Some details may not apply, of course. Take and leave what feels right. So we have flamingo, we have wind, we have bee, we have winter, we have the 2 of lotuses, we have life map, we have the vessel, we have the mystic, nice, and your flower ally here is the camellia. Lovely. Okay, so Pole 6, let's get into this. The flamingo, unity, heart. You have been called to work on collective healing. Wow. Yeah, so Pole 6, you are somebody that is very kind of tuned into the collective, let's say, or healing in general. Those similarities in Pile 5 in that you're committed to the world becoming a better place, to the shift of consciousness, to people being more aware, to people being more compassionate, things like unconditional love, these principles. This for you is a calling, Pole 6, and you are very committed to this. You are very loving, you are very full of love, and you also want other people to bring out that love in others. You are just very, very devoted to, I think, just like a higher sense of calling. Wow, Pole 6. Yeah, you may have abilities in certain healing modalities, let's say. You may be a practitioner of some kind. But you will find whatever you can. You're also very much, there is something collective about what you do. So you may work as part of a group, or it's important to you, it's important to you to have the people around you sort of looking in the same direction, to know that you're part of a community, or you have your people around you that value the same things and are committed to the same ideas. So we have wind here. Yeah, this is all about spirituality too. There's a real spiritual calling with you, pile 6, and people admire your knowledge, your knowing, your warmth, your perceptiveness. You are very perceptive. You are very sensitive to other people's what's going on with others. You are very open to others. You are not superficial. No, pile 6. No, you see through the surfaces, and you connect with people in a deeper level. You connect with the best of them. You want the best for people, and you are incredibly, incredibly loving. You see things from a higher perspective. With this hawk, the hawk is all about sight. It's about sensitive sight, higher sight. It's about perception, seeing things as they really are. You see through the nonsense, pile 6, and people get that about you. This is amazing. Yeah. You know what's true and what isn't. You know when people are being honest with you. You know when people are being genuine. You're very genuine, and that's how people perceive you, as being very authentic, very warm, very understanding, forgiving. There's just something about unconditional love here about you. Wow, pile 6. And with the bee here, it's like, yeah, you definitely have this sense of calling or a higher goal. And the bee to me is very much like the worker bee, right? You put the effort in, but the bee is also like queen bee. It's quite maternal. It's quite nurturing. You are a nurturing type. You are very, very caring. You are very, very comforting to others. Your presence is very soothing to others. With this yellow, you have a strong sense of self and power. It's quiet though. You're not someone that's going to announce themselves loudly in a room, but people can pick up on your personal power. You have a deep strength to you, a deep sense, and there's a real presence to you. But you're not intimidating, pile 6, not at all. Like, you're very approachable. People find that they're able to talk to you and perhaps open up to you in ways that they can't with anyone else. Things that they might usually feel vulnerable or uncomfortable about saying to you, they can speak these things. So we have winter. What I'm getting here is I'm seeing more is this sort of night sky, or this starry sky. Interesting. Some of you may also be astrologers, or have a long, just a lot of knowledge about astrology and just generally about kind of cosmological things. Maybe astronomy too, of course, but like, there's something, you may come from a cold climate. Some of you may be from Northern Europe, that's coming through to me, or Canada or somewhere like that. But from a cold climate, you're very connected to nature, but also something about the sky. Like, you may have a love of astrology and a strong knowledge of your chart, but you also sort of, that this helps you to understand people and understand what's happening around you. The Two of Lotuses. This is a very romantic card here. You, pile 6. This purple is really strong. I am getting, with the crown chakra, you do have a very developed sort of third eye, or perhaps sort of psychic or intuitive ability. There's lots of similarities here to pile 5. But with the moon, some of you may be Cancers or have strong Cancer energy in your chart as well. But this is all about connection. And again, I was getting that people just feel like they can talk to you in a deeper way, at a deeper level, and it makes them feel seen. It makes them feel connected to life in general, because they feel so connected to you, and you're sort of so connected to life. Like, that's how it is. Like, can you open people's minds to things? You're able to convey. I think you're a very good communicator, but you're very good at communicating also about quite abstract things. Perhaps it's astrology, or perhaps it's just whatever it is that you're doing or committed to in this sort of group collective healing thing. Life map, you have perspective. You're able to guide people also through difficult situations. Very, very similar to pile 5. You're able to see you're able to draw a lot of knowledge also in your past experiences, which helps you aid others very much. Like you're able to interpret certain life lessons, for instance, in a very meaningful way. It's not about putting a positive spin on anything, on just anything. It's just like finding meaning or finding interpretations of experiences and chaotic experiences. This is a skill that you have, that you're very good at, that helps people understand their own lives. Some of you may be counselors, therapists, things like that. So you're able to take, for instance, if people tell you their dreams, you're able to interpret things like that are more mysterious, more abstract. We have the vessel here. I love this card, and it just speaks to me like of the divine vessel, really. It's about being the embodiment of something higher. I mean, we are all that in the end. I think we are all these divine vessels, but like for you have a real glow about you, Pulse 6. Like there's a glow about you that people find undeniable. Like people feel safe and seen in your presence. People feel just warmed by you almost, but there's just, you may have certain other talents as well, like creative talents, I want to say, that people find very amazing and admire tremendously. I think perhaps you're multi-talented, Pulse 6. You have different kinds of talents that you share. But you just have this incredible flow, like your life force. It's just like everything is in flow with you, Pulse 6. And people, although they you know, for instance, like we have the chakra system, for instance, that gives us this symbolic understanding of this overall energetic flow. You may be someone who has put a lot of work into balancing these things, and people can feel your flow. People can feel your shine, and it is amazing to be around. And we have the mystic here. Yeah. Again, I do think a lot of you have intuitive gifts, psychic abilities, things like this. You're able to see through things, see through surfaces, but a lot of you may be finding ways to really work with these gifts, which maybe you haven't done in the past. Maybe this is quite new for you, Pulse 6, but you're finding ways to work with your intuitive gifts as a healing tool. People see you as this mystic. Everything that I'm describing about you is very evident to others. It's like it's all on your sleeve. People can see that you have a kind of higher sight or a higher vision, and it's quite magical to others. Yeah, wow, Pulse 6. Let me have a look at this camellia here, this lovely white flower. Eternity. Like a rose, camellia flowers are made up of layers of symmetrical spiraling petals. The woman, while the leaves support ribs of the man. In other flowers, the petals fall away, but the leaves remain attached to the stem. It's like an eternal union. Wow. Beautiful. Eternity. Yeah. There's something about you, Pulse 6. It's like you are connected to more than just... When people around you, they have this sense that you're a very, very old soul. And you're connected to things, perhaps even things that other people can't see. But you have this understanding of life beyond the moment as well. I do think a lot of people are connecting with you afar in ways that you don't realize, Pulse 6. People feel there's something about you that feels very familiar to other people. And it allows them, and it may be something to do with your creativity too, that it allows them to connect with you in a very, very deep way. Whatever healing work you do, I do think you're able to do it almost remotely as well. Many more people than you know benefit from these abilities and skills that you have. Some of them may be things that you haven't yet developed or even discovered, but that will be happening for you, Pulse 6, I think. I mean, some of you, it's definitely already happening, but these things are only going to be built on. So you have this power to reach so many people with these skills that you have, and it's quite amazing. This hawk is really jumping out at me. I love hawks. For those of you that are connecting with this, I do think that if you have some kind of sense of psychic or intuitive abilities, they are really going to be enhanced. in the coming months, throughout the, just, in the near future, basically, there's going to be a development in that area. There's just going to be a general development overall in your life in terms of things that have been budding or developing. They're going to be kind of opening and springing forth, like with this vessel, and things are really going to be shining. This is coming through to me very strongly. You're going to be feeling very much yourself and very content in yourself. But so that went a little bit, of course, to what things people admire about you. But this was an important, meaningful message. And I think it also has to do with connecting with others. So if those of you who are connecting with this but perhaps didn't feel like they're working as part of a collective, I do think that this is something that is coming in for you, like finding your people, finding people that you align with, that feel sort of true to who you are and have a common sense of purpose. So wow, Pile 6, if this was you, please do let me know in the comment box. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I wish you the very best, and I look forward to reading for you next time. Thanks, bye.